Donald Trump was feeling grumpy because everyone was talking about how he's in the Epstein files, so he flew to Scotland to get away from questions about the Epstein files, but then everyone in Scotland asked him about the Epstein files. But I'm going to do him a favor because I think he deserves it. Tonight's Closer Look won't be about the Epstein files. Instead, we're going to focus on a topic that's much more important: currency manipulation. Currency manipulation is an unfair trade practice in which a government or a central bank attempts to artificially influence the value of its currency in order to gain a trade advantage. And I'm just with you. We're going to talk about the Epstein stuff. For more on this, it's time for a Closer Look. But tomorrow, currency manipulation. Donald Trump has achieved many firsts. He's the first president to be impeached twice. He's the first president to be convicted of a felony. He's the first president to dress up as a sanitation worker and audition for the Village People B team. Who else is on the Village People B team? Great question. It's Garbage Man, Wolfman, Birthday Clown, Lumberjack, and Mr. Matt. And if they show up to your party, you're gonna wanna leave that party. But Trump has once again blazed a new path, as he is now the first president to complain during a meeting with a foreign leader about a possible trade deal that he is feeling grumpy.
It seems like you're in quite a good mood. How would you rate those chances now?
I'm actually not in a good mood.
Well, it was fun small talk either way. But I have to ask, why isn't Trump in a good mood more often? I mean, he's the most powerful person in the world. He's worth more money every day thanks to some bullshit meme coin that he can't possibly understand. A year ago, he was convicted of 34 felony counts. Now he goes on golf trips that taxpayers pay for with a caddy who literally drops the ball for him after he lost his in the rough, and yet he still scowls like he's been in the dentist's waiting room for 3 hours and they just called someone else's name. I don't think I've ever seen Trump in a good mood, except when he was partying with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, look at those two laughing it up. They're so happy. They look like the Roxbury guys. And I know. Me showing that clip is one of the reasons he's grumpy. I play a part in this vicious cycle, mea culpa. But thankfully, there were some diligent reporters there to follow up and dig in more on the president's mood.
Please.
Why you're in a bad mood? Was it a bad morning of golf, or why are you not in a good mood?
No, the golf was beautiful. Golf can never be bad, even if you play badly. It's still good. If you had a bad day on the golf course, it's okay. It's better than other days.
I'm not saying it's boring listening to him talk about golf, but I do think everything he just said is on a magnet I bought my dad for Father's Day. In reality, Trump is in a bad mood because he can't escape the relentless stream of Epstein questions. Reporters even hounded him on the golf course, so he tried to drown them out.
Around this president, even the golf sounds different.
Are you enjoying the Scottish hospitality?
There were Sky News questions, sure.
Mr. Trump, can you escape the Jeffrey Epstein crisis?
Maybe that's why we heard this.
What's that song?
I don't know, it's very famous though.
It's from a musical.
Yeah.
Memories.
Music boomed out from the convoy of golf carts, drowning out the surrounding sound.
All right, first of all, if you're trying to make people forget about your ties to a reviled sex trafficker, maybe don't blast a song called Memory, you know? Pick one that looks forward, like Tomorrow from Annie, or The Future's So Bright I Gotta Wear Shades by Timbuk 3. And yes, I realize that song about the future is so old now that if Timbuk 3 is wearing anything, it's those glaucoma glasses. But still, by playing Memory, you're not inspiring me to move on. If anything, all I can do now is think of a montage of Trump and Epstein together with that song playing over it.
Memory, turn your face.
Also, my favorite thing about that clip is the Scottish reporters not knowing what the song is. I want to believe it's because Andrew Lloyd Webber knows people in Scotland would never want to see that show. I'm not gonna pay money to watch singing cops. But it wasn't all Epstein questions for Trump. He also found time in the middle of a meeting that was supposed to be about negotiating a trade deal with the European Union to rant about windmills. This rant went on for so long, we had to put in some edits for time.
The other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, beautiful planes, and I'm not talking about airplanes, I'm talking about beautiful planes. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China. You can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers. You know, environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. It ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. Over the last 20 years, had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore. And over the last short period of time, they had 18. I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry, even though I own it. I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like right at the end of the 18. I said, isn't that a shame? Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the, you know, the world. But windmills should not be allowed.
Jeez. By the time that he was done, even Don Quixote was like, bro, you're obsessed with windmills. I love just picturing Donald Trump in a bad mood being like, and someone's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I can't see the beautiful planes. Not airplanes. We're like, yeah, we know. Also, am I the only one noticing he's saying worse things about windmills than he says about Jeffrey Epstein? At this rate, we'll probably find some old photos of Trump posing at his golf club with a windmill. But as much as he wanted to discuss windmills, Trump could not escape the Epstein questions. He was confronted with them again today during a meeting with the British Prime Minister, and I'm not sure he chose his words all that wisely.
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
You were doing really good right until privilege. Privilege was not the word you wanted to use. A trip to that terrible island was sadly not an honor that was ever bestowed upon me. Privilege makes it seem like you never turned down an invitation. It seems like you were checking your messages every day in hopes one was forthcoming. You'd be like, any calls from Jeffrey? No? Yeah, I remember when he used to call memory. All alone. Anyway, let me know if he calls. Trump was asked why, after a 15-year-long relationship with Epstein, in which he called Epstein a terrific guy and Epstein called him his closest friend, the two had a falling out.
What was it about? What caused the breach to begin?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate.
All right, well, you know what? That's reassuring. You realized Epstein was a monster, and as soon as you learned the horrible truth, you threw him out of Mar-a-Lago and cut him out of your life for good. You know what? That's great. That's what you meant when you said he did something inappropriate, right?
He did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata.
Because he poached your employee? You're making it so much worse, dude. I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe you should go back to talking about windmills. Let me see if I understand what just happened. You went out of your way to tell us that you cut ties with a monstrous sex trafficker not because he committed horrific crimes, but because he hired someone away from you? That's like saying you stopped talking to O.J. Simpson because he signed an autograph to Ronald. There are certain things you can't forgive. But somehow none of those comments ended up being the most shocking or disgusting thing Trump said in Scotland, because he was also asked about the horrific atrocities in Gaza, where the government of Benjamin Netanyahu has been blocking the delivery of humanitarian aid and causing mass starvation with U.S. complicity. And Trump's main concern was that no one was being nice to him.
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
Well, you know, we gave $60 million 2 weeks ago, and nobody even acknowledged it, for food. And it's terrible. You know, you really at least want to have somebody say thank you.
So many responses you could go with first. We need to feed the children. We need to end the killing. We need a ceasefire and to free the hostages. But only Trump could respond with, ahem. Does anyone have anything to say to me? Like a DoorDash driver looking for a rating. No, I just want to pause to say this is a comedy show, and I know a lot of people are going to say, why are you talking about this? Just make jokes, and we try every day. We try. But we're also human beings, and we are appalled by the unspeakable horrors currently unfolding in Gaza, and our government is complicit, which is why we have a duty as Americans to speak out on a horrific crisis that has been foreseeable for a long time, as Senator Bernie Sanders explained months ago.
Today, it is 31 days and counting with absolutely no humanitarian aid getting into Gaza. Nothing. No food, no water, no medicine, no fuel for over a month. That is a clear violation of the Geneva Convention, the Foreign Assistance Act, and basic human decency. It is a war crime. You don't starve children. We are deeply complicit in all of this death and suffering.
Bernie is right, and I appreciate his moral clarity. He has a way of cutting through the BS that few others have. Whenever I call Verizon customer service, I wish Bernie Sanders was on the other end of the line, just giving it to me straight. Thank you for calling. You're number 17 in line, but don't get your hopes up. You're going to be on the phone all day, and when you finally get through to a human being, they're not going to be able to solve your problems. So you might as well get out of the house and interact with people face to face so you're not so dependent on the phone. We can all see with our own eyes the horror of what is happening in Gaza. In fact, it's so obvious that even Trump was forced today to acknowledge it.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said there's no starvation in Gaza. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know. I mean, based on television, I would say not particularly, because those children look very hungry. Some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
If even Trump is forced to acknowledge the reality of the crisis, that means it is long past time to act and end the suffering. Unfortunately, we have an administration that seems concerned mainly with golf, cover-ups, and
windmills.
This has been A Closer Look.